Ghost Cult Magazine. Welcome to the guy I have been following since Wrathchild America, Shannon Larkin of the Apocalypse Blues Revival. How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. As I want to do in these crazy times, before we get into this awesome band, your new record, art, music, drums, whatever you want to talk about, I just want to make sure you're good, your related bandmates of all your bands are good, your family's good. This is a really screwy year, and I just want to not lose the human side of people's lives before we start talking about band stuff.
Well, the whole band Godsmack is good, and the whole our singer Sully just moved to Florida, and where Tony and I and Robbie, the whole rest of the band already left the cold and came down here years ago, and so now our singer is moving down. He's having a house built and all that, so we're gonna be a Florida band. So we're all very healthy, and all of our parents haven't been affected by this. My mom has COPD, and she's
Mm.
76 years old. So I was quite worried, and luckily, thank the lucky stars, she's good. And we were in the Smack world, we were super lucky because we dropped the Legends Rise record around October of 2018, and so we immediately went on tour. Took January, February off for the holidays, but then toured constantly throughout the whole year of 2019, all the way into 2020. And we had a bunch of shows, cool shows like with Metallica lined up for this year and all that, which obviously the pandemic happened and sidelined us. But before that happened, Tony and I, we had the time, which was January and February and part of March before the shows were supposed to kick off with Godsmack, and we went in and did this record for our side thing, Apocalypse Blues Revival. And so that's where we're at. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's here in Florida, and we're getting the lightning in the bottle, like the creativity thing. In Godsmack, we have, I'd say, a good new set of songs. A batch started already, and with the Apocalypse, we already have over half of our next record written before our first one even came out. So
Prolific.
good. And thanks for asking, because
Yeah.
2020 is like this box right here.
Ooh.
And I'd love to see people when they open this box. 2020.
Oh, that's creepy, man. I don't like creepy clowns, but that's great. That's hysterical.
That's what I feel like this year has been, man. Just a carnival ride, a hell ride in some satanic carnival or something, man.
Exactly. Thanks for catching us up on all that stuff. And of course, best of luck with your mom, and best of health and best wishes. And yeah, it's got to be very scary for anybody that's got like immunocompromised systems or just lingering health issues. It's a very scary time. But thankfully, we have.
How about you and your family?
I'm hanging in there, man. I was sick earlier in the year. Music, my staff and my band friends are all my family. So I'm okay. I started the year ill, and I've been better ever since. And just sheltering in, and just trying to stay focused and sharp, and working hard and grinding like you guys, trying to be prolific and make stuff, and not sit around and wait for something else to change or happen. I'm just a workaholic dude that does music journalism. On sort of half and half. I'm also in marketing, so that's my other love in life, is marketing, sometimes for bands and labels and sometimes for corporate stuff. But I'm good, man. Thank you also for asking. And yeah, man, I love this record. And I think maybe one of the things that really I've really dug this project from the beginning. Shane is a fantastic singer, man. And maybe even this might be his best stuff actually ever. And Tony, man, fantastic playing, all you guys on this record. But I think what's interesting is, in a weird way, because it's such a tumultuous year, I feel like throwback anything, retro anything, kind of the vibe of anything old school is really, pulls at the heart a little bit when you when things are uncertain, we return to what's familiar and loved. And so the sound of this record, the influences you guys flow on, and even just the song, the tracks themselves are just so comforting. I love, it's just like something very soothing and cool about this psychedelic bluesy rock, man.
Well, thank you, man. I'm glad that you feel that way because I feel the same way. And my take on the writing of this record was, you know, and being in a big band like Godsmack or whatever, and being blessed, I should say, to be in a successful band like that. Um, I I did realize that it seems like the music that I grew up on in the late 70s and through the early 80s, and I look at that as my growing up years from like 8 to 18, right? That's where you really become who you're going to be, I think. And the music that I was hearing on the radio, the classic, all the classic rock stuff, is it was happening at a time that you would be successful if you were different and unique, where it seems like today to be successful in commercial success with the radio and all, you have to kind of sound like everything that's on the radio, right? And so going into the writing of this new record with Tony, we specifically, wanted to keep the foundation blues, but we wanted to go off more into that psychedelic experimental thing that was happening in the 70s when bands like Floyd and Bowie were trying to be different, man, from everybody else. And that's what defined them and made them, get this like following, a cult following. And so also with Tony and I, it's like, since we do, again, I keep harping on the success of Godsmack, but it's a 20-year band, and that's something we're very proud of, obviously, But that said, I always urged in every band I've been in, all my musician buddies to jam and like explore different genres in the rehearsal room when you're not making your big hit records or whatever, man. Get with other musicians that aren't in your band and play, like country music. You know what I mean? Like I don't know anything about country. So what I do, well, I try and do a workshop and write a country song and jam it with my guitar player. Hey, check it. You know what I mean? And then even if it's shit, it's you as a musician being able to change things up and express yourself in a different way that might transpose into a new song, and put those kind of uh, influences of the classic musicians in the sheer experimental part of music.
Right on. I'm so glad you mentioned that because one of the things I also wanted to ask you about was, because you are so well known for other styles of music and aggressive music and just playing your ass off. I was just casually looking up YouTube videos of like your stuff. There's like millions of people watching videos of you play live and in the studio and workshops. Is to do such a change of pace for this music, to play patiently, to sit in a very slow pocket and chill. I feel like it's almost a skill, like, because if you play, heavy and fast all the time, you got to almost change your whole brain to play differently. I know I had that problem in the past, where I was very punk rock and metal with my bass playing, and then to play like some classic rock or psychedelic rock, like a Pink Floyd cover, I have to almost like reprogram my brain how to chill and be patient.
That's a great, great, great point, man. And I tell people because, I write, most of the music, and on this particular record, with Tony and all the lyrics and melodies, right? And so I become like the drummer, and I produce and mix the record too. So the drums to me became like the foundation of this puzzle that I was trying to piece together musically. And it came, it comes like bolts of lightning that you have to bottle, you know what I mean? And I'll get bursts of creativity in which I can write 10 songs. and get with Tony, and man, we can put 10 songs together, and then I'll send it to Brian and Shane afterwards once the songs are demoed, and then let them interpret them and put their souls into these little babies. But as far as it goes, I think that it's all it's a bunch of like-minded people, creating it's in the space in between the notes. That's what I'm trying to get out. I know it's hard, but like, so when I say, because I do care about the drums, believe me, but it's now at the painting, the drums are just the green and the whole color scheme. You know what I mean? And so when I approached the drums for the Apocalypse, it's a different thing. And it's almost, I mean, I would say, especially live, it's harder to play the slow blues because there's so much space in between each note. And even with the bass, and that's one of the things I'll brag, and that's why I call Brian Carpenter Bassgod. This guy, I mean, when we're going at a super slow one, I'm talking blah, do, doom, boom, do, doom, bap, boom, boom. Man, there's so much space. And the bass has to be right on each note, doom, doom, with my kick drum, bam, and snare. And so sometimes Brian, I look at him, man, and he has his eyes closed too. It's not like he's watching. And it's just this amazing thing. But I try and tell all my musician friends, oh my God, it's way harder than playing Battery by Metallica to me. I mean,
For sure. For sure. And you've done that a lot too. And Brian is, again, as a bass guy, Brian's great, and he brings a lot to the table. Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful, not just the classic blues that you guys were kind of focused on to begin with, but now, like I said, there's all this wonderful dreamy psychedelic stuff, and not just the obvious stuff, but like really great. There's some great organ and keys on here, Fender Rhodes, sounds like some Hammond stuff, and really like very Doorsy. Obviously, Floyd people out because Shane is going to get a lot of comparisons to David and Roger vocally because he can kind of do both, which is insane and great by him. And yeah, man, it's just a very deep record. There's no skippable songs. It's all very, repeat, grows on, and repeat plays. It was a grower for sure. And again, just like for the listener, it really demands your attention because there's a lot of subtle things going on that I think you find and discover with great music. You could hear a song, you could hear "Stairway to Heaven" a million times, and then hear it one more time and hear something you never heard before. And I think that's A, good songwriting, and B, obviously great production.
Well, thank you, man. That was the intent, to put lots of sound and subliminal noise in there and find frequencies. Like I hit this one bell that I had found that was supposed to be the frequency of love. And so when I said the word love in one of the songs, Optimistic maybe, I hit the bell.
Yeah.
You can't really hear that, but unless you're, on LSD and listening in headphones, and then you can hear all this stuff that I did. But a lot of unique, I always urge, by the way, headphones, because, and especially for this record, I mixed it specifically, for an experience, immersive experience, moving mics around the microphones. Like on the last record and this guy, Dave Fortman, taught me so much about like actual production and miking and different techniques to get, sounds without having to use effects. In other words, doing it like they did it in the 70s. And so like we had taken and put my girlfriend in a chair with headphones on, and then, moved this range, and we mic'd around her head with directional mic, or not a non-directional mics, a full 360 mics. And then I moved a rain stick around her head. And so in the headphones, you get this, it makes you, the back of your head itch. It feels like the sound's moving behind you. And those are cool little things, because it's obviously about creating a mood to me. Like, I think the greatest album of all time, in my personal opinion, will be Dark Side of the Moon. Not just because the songs were great, the performances of drums, bass, guitar, keys, moog, the groundbreaking sounds and mix that Roger Waters came up with on that one. Um, all that, but also the feel is the feel. And it's because it feels like that band's sitting right in the room with you, but the universe is moving around, you know?
Yes, exactly. And also, I think that space is created by a guy like Nick Mason, and had a jazz background and really played for the song and not about showing off, opposite the drummers of his peers and that era with all the incredible drummers, right? Your Keith Moons and your Bonzos and your Neil Pearts later on. And Nick was very subdued and very, very happy to let the other guys shine and do his thing. And you go back and listen to those Floyd records, and the drumming is incredible.
Yes, amazing. Definitely one of my biggest influences, as well as people say I don't really recognize Charlie Watts as much as I feel, or Ringo Starr for that matter. People like Ringo Starr, like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's about subtlety. It's about playing for the song. It's about getting the emotion of the song through. It does, and sometimes it does call for Dave Lombardo. Uh, but then the kind of music that I'm trying to create with the apocalypse, I play more like Nick Mason than like Terry Bozzio, you know.
Another good shout out, Terry. And I also want to say, super appreciate the mention of Fortman, back to the Ugly Kid Joe days. And Fortman continues to be an incredible producer and great guy. I wonder, does having this band affect the kit you play for this recording or this band at all? Or do you just use the big old giant rock star kit and just play less, play less pieces?
It's funny, we've had this band started out as blue crosses on a uh, uh, chalkboard, but not a chalkboard, erasable pen
Mhm.
board, marker
Yeah,
board.
whiteboard.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And so we had red stars were the songs that we felt were Godsmack. And this is Tony and I who had moved to Florida. So we got a rehearsal place down here. And so we would go into our rehearsal place for every day, 5 days a week. And we would just write music. And, our thing is about just writing music. And so we pick where it will fall later. What are we feeling? Let's write music. What riff do you got, man? I got this beat. And so a lot of times we go, wow, that Sully might like that. That could be a Godsmack track. So we'd put this red star beside it. And then the other pen was a blue marker. And so when it was blues related, because we play the blues, man, we've always played the blues together on the side. Once I heard him play, I was like, I didn't realize that he was in love with Johnny Winter and Stevie Ray Vaughan and BB King and all the guys that I, you know, look at as my escape from hard rock and punk and metal and stuff. I always listen to blues to chill, man. And anyway, so we would put these blue crosses, and finally we had like a whole set of songs with blue crosses. So we had found Brian Carpenter, at a local. I was doing this thing. It was called Shannon Larkin's Building the Band, and I had to judge at this nightclub. And one night was bass players, and then we picked the best one, and there was radio DJs, judges with me, and we put together, built this band and locally. It ended up being shit, but but the radio
Oh,
station played their demo, whatever. But so anyway, I discovered Brian Carpenter there. He won the bass player night and was in this shit band. And I was like, dude, come join me and Tony in this blues thing, Blue Cross, we call it. We're looking for a singer. And we ended up finding a local guy, this old blues guy named Ray Savone, and started the Blue Cross band. And we played for 6 years around all the Florida, all the way up to Georgia, and we never really left the southeast, but just playing like literal small blues bars. And we did it for the love of it, man. There's no money in the blues or whatever. And so this guy Zito from the radio station had 93X, it was called, here in Southwest Florida. And the DJ is a friend of mine, Zito. And he said, he calls me up one day, hey man, we're doing the X Fest and we don't have a first band on the stage. Would your Blue Cross band want to play? And I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. Disturbed was the headliner, right? Here we are. We were way more traditional blues, by the way. It was before I got into the psychedelic thing. And we were, and I'll get back to the whole my drum kit, which anyway, I didn't forget that question. But and so but I'd like to give, a little background on the band and how it all happened anyway. And so anyway, we get this show with Disturbed, 10 other bands on the main stage, but we're the first band. And so like as we're jamming the blues, by the way, we're seeing all the people, they opened the gates. We had already started playing. And so all the people run up the stage. I remember seeing Taylor Hawkins standing on the side of the stage, like egging me on. I'm playing the blues. It was a cool thing. But anyway, from that, to get that show, Zito's like, all I need from you is just one song. So Blue Cross went into the studio just to make a song. It was called The Devil in Me. And we made this song because it was our heaviest one. So we figured we're playing this rock fest. Let's make our heaviest blues song. It was called The Devil in Me off our first record. And lo and behold, then a week later, my manager from Godsmack called and said, "Hey man, you got a record deal if you want one with this mascot Provog Records." And they had like Walter Trout and Kenny Wayne Shepherd, all these blues legends. And we're like, wow. And so that's what happened. We never tried to set out to get signed or anything. We were playing blues clubs, man. And then I went into rehab, the one and only time. I'm an alcoholic, recovered. It's been over 4 years now. I don't even think about it, man. But so I go into rehab and Tony Rombola calls me. I only got like literally one call a day I could make, and Tony was my Sunday call. And he's like, "Hey man, me and Ray have been talking. What do you think about the Apocalypse Blues Band?" Right. And I, when my band, I was in this punk band called Amen, right? And in the 2000s, and we toured the world with Slipknot. And the drummer from Slipknot, Joey Jordison, I was I was a mess, a bloodied mess, drunk guy back in Amen punk rock. And so I lived it. And when I would come to the after show parties in my state, Joey would always say, "Oh, everybody watch out. Here comes the apocalypse." And so I ended up by the end of that tour, everybody was calling me the apocalypse and hey, apocalypse. So I tattooed the apocalypse on my arm and everything. And that was
Wow.
my nickname, right? It stuck. Well, and then the band Amen, I left that band or whatever and um, joined Godsmack. Uh, and the apocalypse nickname went away. And so all these years later, for Tony and Ray to come up with, "Hey, how about the apocalypse?" And they weren't, and I was like, wow, the apocalypse is me, and blues is my intent. And the review was my band. You know what I mean? And we made two records and toured. So anyway, with the drum kit, I at that time was writing what I was trying to make traditional blues. The farthest thing away from Godsmack. And blues is a underground genre, and there's clubs of blues people that don't even want let other people in. Oh, these guys, like, we wouldn't get accepted because Tony and I are rock stars and they're trying to be blues guys, when really, blues is a music that's American music that started. If it weren't for blues, it wouldn't be rock and roll, and hence there wouldn't be metal and punk and everything we got. So you know, we were way more traditional. So I was using a 22-inch kick, 14-inch snare, 13-inch tom, 16-inch floor, crash, crash, ride, China, hi-hat. And there it is, your standard four-piece kit. But I did have a China type, which I always needed that. So, and I toured like that and humped my own gear, by the way. This is when, Godsmack, we're a big band, right? We got 28 people in our road crew. Well, the Apocalypse go out in a van with one road dude, one roadie, and we humped our gear, man, throughout this whole thing. Um, and then even when we went on tour with the records, with the review, we went in an RV and ended up, not making money because we had an RV, but we did a couple tours with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and it was super fun. And again, Tony and I if we do make some money, we give it to, at the time, Ray and Brian, who, don't have the luxury of having this band that's successful, because this business is one of the hardest businesses ever to be successful in. And now with this COVID thing, God, everybody's suffering in this business. So anyway, that was a drum question, boy. I went around the world with that.
Well, yeah, but I appreciate you sharing, and I love the context. And again, I'm super glad. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your story and your journey. And I'm really, grateful to hear that you had friends in your corner like Tony checking on you and hanging with you. Yeah, man, we're all in this together. We're all soldiers in this rock life. And I love that what you said about the blues. It is everybody's music, and none of this stuff happens without the blues. And really, we could go all day on just that topic, but I want to be respectful of your time. I just got a couple more for you. Obviously, like you said, the whole industry is upside down and underwater. I'm sure you guys are going to do some touring when you're not busy writing for other records. Have you guys considered doing live streams? I know the technology is not super forgiving, but is that something you guys have considered maybe to help promote the release since it's a very DIY project?
Um, well, the notion did come about of just playing here, uh, and trying to stream it maybe out live, and do that. But and then, I got to thinking, well, and this was pre-election, so I was like, this country needs to get its shit together. Let this election happen and all that. Whatever happens, happens. And because I really feel that I felt that whoever won this thing, the country, that there's going to be a shot that it's all going to come soon, and the country's going to normalize. It'll never be the way it was before because we have this bug that is transforming itself as we try and make antidotes. So the immunity shot, there's never, like, even with Pfizer saying, oh, we got 90%, or now today it's 95%, you know what I mean? Um, so if everybody goes and gets this shot, then why doesn't the country open back up, right? Oh, because they don't know the side effect, oh, that whatever. I'm just praying that, all right, Joe Biden won. Awesome. Let the shot out now, and let's open this country back up so that, and then if you're gonna get the flu, you're gonna get the flu, people act like we've been through this before, and H1N1, the bird flu thing, and of course, those strains weren't as bad. This is real, and I'm not downplaying COVID, man. Let's wear masks and social distance as much as possible. But when I look at a football game and I see, like, they let, I don't know, 10,000 or 5,000 people into this thing, and they're all sitting in groups anyway, and they all have to go to the bathroom, and they all have to walk around. I mean, so it just, to me, I feel like with the COVID-19 having what, a 99.9% survival rate, I think they said something ridiculous, super high survival rate. I mean, it's totally a real thing and it totally sucks, but it is the flu, and we must go on with our lives and careers. I mean, I got 28 dudes that are literally don't have any other skills. There's
Yeah.
great sound man. I know the sound man for Luke Bryan, Frank, and he's like, I don't know. I don't do anything else. What am I, and the money stops. They don't, everybody's suffering right now. And it's, that my agent, speaking of back to the initial question, the ABR is going to tour. We're not going to stream anything, or we're going to let this year go, let the new president get in and sit and let the idiot extremists fight it out or whatever in the streets, whatever hell's going to happen or whatever. Let them get it all out of their asshole systems, and then let the country normalize, and love and peace will reign again, and then people can go out and enjoy music again, which was a sanity saver for a lot of us, especially people like me that live for music, and I'm a musician, but I have many friends that live for music and concerts, and that's their out from their day jobs and everything. And it's the way it should be. And now that's been taken away. And so, we were swelling the ranks of depression and suicide and just basic divisiveness between, you know, half the country and all this crazy stuff. And I mean, I certainly don't, like, I have extreme personal feelings about this country and which way it went and it's going and all that. But I would never say that here, not with you or anyone else, because I feel I'm an entertainer, man. And it's like, you know, when Madonna goes up to accept her 10th Grammy, and all she can harp on about is, you know, whoever's dying in Lithuania or whatever. And I understand, but I'm like, you're an entertainer, and I'm watching the Grammys to see you thank your fans for the music that they love that you created, and you get this award, not to hear your political views, right? So I'm not going to be that guy, whoever's watching this, that's going to spout off, oh, yeah, Biden rules, or yeah, Trump's the best. I don't care. I have my own feeling on it, but I'm not trying to. If I was, I'd be on a different show. Then this is a music show.
Right.
But, you know,
I got you, man.
I'll open up personally. I'm a very open book. You know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, man. But, you know, politics, I think I'll take the high road on that one. And I know I brought it up, but because it's hard in this world. But we talk about touring, that brings up politics because
Right.
the damn country's shut, man. And
Yeah.
with the Democratic Party winning, I feel that, you know, it's probably going to stay shut a while longer. And so, you know, we'll see what happens. But I know that I spoke to my agent for the ABR, and we're with an agency, a blues agency called the Catch Agency in North Carolina, right? And we've been with them for
Nice.
4 or 5 years now. And it's a small agency, and it books blues bars, and they told me 3 days ago that out of all the states in the United States, Florida has opened up the most for club bookings. Now,
Mm.
you know, a lot of these clubs are not even, they won't even allow half capacity, right? So the capacity's lowered, but you know, at least they're letting shows. So obviously the bands don't get paid as much, but you know, the blues, what are we going to make? You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that, you know, hopefully March, April, the Apocalypse Blues Revival will go on tour, at least in the Southeast, no matter what Biden does with them, you know, opening the country back up or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
man.
my
I hear
hope.
you. Yeah, all of us, man. I hope we get it back. My heart goes out to all your crew and everybody in the business. We're all dependent on each other. I never in my life imagined I was going to like 4 or 5 shows a week. I can't imagine my life without going back to shows and festivals someday. And neither can you, I'm sure. So
No,
I appreciate you sharing all that. And yeah, man, we're all ultimately at the end of the day, we're all in this together. And I'm glad we have the music to escape to and enjoy. Definitely everybody needs to check out this new self-titled record. Put on your headphones, close your eyes, put on the lava lamp, and chill. Maybe light up one, roll it up and light it, and have a
man,
good time.
absolutely.
And yeah, man, Shannon, man, I appreciate hearing from you and having you share your story with Ghost Cult so much. Obviously, I've followed your career for a very, very long time, and look forward to anything and everything you will come out with in the future. So keep up
Oh,
the good work, man, and stay safe. Okay.
thanks so much, man. You too. And best wishes to you and yours. Talk soon.
Thanks, man.